I'm very happy to be here. I left Canada in 1975, and one of my dreams was to come to Istanbul. I unfortunately watched a movie and have postponed the trip till now. It was an amazing opportunity to get out of Canada, and had I remembered about winter, I would have made a pair of trousers for the visit. So here we are in Bali, and we're all commuters, and this is one of the dangerous parts of my commute, where you're so overwhelmed by the beauty, you have to pull over on the way home and take a picture. This was last week. Bali is a place where cows are the lawnmowers, and honest men turn their swimming pools into fish farms, and this water hyacinth growing on top of the fish farm is harvested daily and fed to this guy. He's a Balinese black pig, last of a breed in the presence of globalism, where everything is going to be white. The white pigs have taken over. This is a man that I met on my morning walk, and he's harvested that bamboo shoot, and he's going to take it home for breakfast. What I'm going to do here today is I'm going to tell you a story about bamboo. This is how it starts. It's as small as my finger, and you plant it during the rainy season, and in 5 years it's this. It is one of the most amazing plants. You see the scale from the person in the picture. And every winter it does this. It shoots. It's all about the mother, as your mother will tell you, but under the ground is a mother, which is the root of the bamboo. And every rainy season she shoots 25% new shoots. And in 3 months, they're taller than a coconut tree. It's the most remarkable possibility. So we cut it, we harvest it in the mountains, and we drive it down to the factory. You can imagine trying to get this through Istanbul traffic. And we wash it with water. We put it in long tanks, 15 meters long, and we treat it with borax. Borax is a natural salt that actually comes from Turkey. And it creates the world's only hope for a completely sustainable, quick-growing timber that we can all have all we need of, bamboo. Then we tortured it, we took it into the labs, we twisted it, we broke it, we bent it, and we developed all the engineering information we needed to actually build things out of it. And as you know, men have been living in bamboo shelters, bamboo houses for millennium. And they even did some amazing things. This is a 35-meter bridge in 1930 over a river in Java. An amazing engineering feat. Unfortunately, this guy has eaten all the bamboo structures ever built. He's the powder post beetle. And the great thing about the borax that we put in the bamboo is he comes, he bites it, it doesn't kill him, we're very green, but he gets diarrhea and goes home. We're at about 99.9% effectiveness with treating our bamboo with borax, which makes it a permanent building material, stronger than steel by weight. We can build real things out of it. This is a modern bridge, a permanent bamboo bridge. The gentlemen on the top are enjoying their lunch, which we'll be doing soon. And it's an amazing feat to build things without steel. And we can do beauty. This is a helix. It's actually the heart of school at Green School. And the idea was that it would do this, and then it would do that, and somehow in the middle it would do this, and that's where it came from, those simple hand movements. There's the model of it sitting in front of it being built. And it's built by these guys. They're Balinese carpenters, artisans. They've been building bamboo since they were 6 years old, and they're smiling. They use things like this, a very delicate bamboo peg going through a very complex joint. And it's all built by hand, raised by hand. We use manpower. There are no cranes on the site. And this is what it looks like in the magic of building it. People came by and said, "What is that?" And it becomes quite a massive amount of chaos. And all of a sudden the scaffolding comes down and we're left with these majestic towers holding up a 75-meter long building. It's heart of school. It has 7 kilometers of bamboo in it. It came out of the ground in 3 months. If we wanted to build this building out of timber, we would use hundreds of 60 or 70-year-old trees. This building is 5 years old, and no piece of material in this building existed on the planet 10 years ago. So when you think about growing your own buildings, this is the time. And this is the Green School. The Green School has almost 300 kids. It goes from kindergarten to grade 12. We're graduating our first people this year. It's an amazing place where children experience a green education. It has no walls. The desks are made out of bamboo. And it's a remarkable place. People decide to come to the Green School before they know where it is. They come, when they hear it's in Bali, they decide to come to the Green School in Bali before they know where Bali is. It's an amazing commitment people are making to their children's education. And we had a wonderful man from Paris come to the Green School, and he loved it, and he said, "John, I'm going to take you off the grid." His name is Eric Scoto, and he runs a solar panel company in Paris. And be careful what you wish for, because all of a sudden we got 108 solar panels and we didn't know what to do with them. So we took a page from the famous artist in England who does environmental sculpture. We flowed the solar panels on the contour of the land. We put them on bamboo feet, and it became an Andy Goldworthy-esque solar panel installation. And then we got the batteries, and the prescription that came with the batteries is they must be in a concrete block house, and it must be climate controlled, and they must be in straight rows. We don't have much concrete at Green School, so we put them in an L shape in the garden. And then, to the disdain of some of the engineers, we built the building over the panels. This is the battery house, living between the cabbages and the corn. This is my daughter. She grew up in Bali. She went to New York. She became very successful doing prints and patterns in the design world. And she came home to the Green School, and when she saw it, she said, "Dad, I'm coming back." And that was a great moment for me, leaving the glamour of New York, because she really didn't feel that she could make a green impact in New York. So she came back and started a small company called Ibuku. Ibu means mum, so it's your mum, my mum, and in general, Mother Earth, Ibuku. And I'm going to show you what she's doing. Sleeping on the land. Can you imagine? We need a building, you go and sleep there, you drink there, you eat there, other things. And then you come back and you start drawing and dreaming. And the drawing and dreaming turns into bamboo models. And the bamboo models are built by master artisans, and they're actually tested as they're built. And then a young man comes, and I had a professor from a university in America visiting, and he couldn't imagine how we could take these very complex curvilinear structures and get them into DesignCAD. But this young man does it. He measures every single piece of bamboo, and he creates this. And so this is reverse engineering. I know that many of us are making DesignCAD control the world, but this is an example of the world controlling DesignCAD. This goes off to the engineers. They run it through their computers, and then it comes back. And it comes back to guys like this. Bamboo models that are on the work site that lead the construction. And this is a priest, a small priest, blessing a bamboo model. And it's absolutely the finished piece. It's measured with bamboo rulers. If we gave Balinese artisans reams of plans, we actually tried it. They spread them out at lunchtime and slept on them. It goes up really fast. 30 days, 60 days, and it's here. Amazing thing to watch. And during the building, the architects and the engineers are constantly watching it and watching the magic of the artisans. And this is our biggest tool. And we're kind of non-mechanical. This knife has a great part of building in bamboo. And this is our biggest tool. No machines, no roads. Everything comes in on paths. And it's one of the few construction sites in the world where you have to take off your shoes to go on the site. These men dig holes for the foundation, sometimes 6 meters deep, and every square meter of that earth is taken away and disposed of properly. If you come to visit us, you'll think that we may be in the archaeological business, because the foundations look like an archaeological dig. And this is our impact on the earth. Each bamboo pole has a river stone under it to isolate it from the moisture. It's also a good way to see if termites are heading up into the bamboo. It's super low impact. And the roofs are soaring in the jungle, never higher than a coconut tree. And after we built this house, and I know you've all been involved in building, we went under the house and we found this plant. This plant survived 6 months of construction. This is a finished piece. And if you look in the center, you'll see the hole. And as you walk into the house and you're drawn to the hole and you look down, this is what you see. It's built on a slope, and the tower that holds up the building comes up from 3 floors below. It's really outdoor living with nature. On the plans, the client had put a TV room. I think you have those here, media room, video room. And we just couldn't bring ourselves to build a room inside the bamboo house, so we made a media basket. You can see the big screen TV in there. And it's a basket sitting in the house for that purpose. Oops, sorry. air-conditioned living. Some people are afraid to be living this close to nature. And this is a bedroom in one of the houses, and this is a new project, which is called the air-conditioned bed. There's actually an air conditioning unit under the floor, and those two big bamboo poles bring the air conditioning up. And this isn't finished yet, but when it's finished, there'll be a mosquito net fall. And I guess it's going back to the castles, where the king just heated his bed surrounded by tapestries rather than heating the whole castle. It's very energy efficient. And we're inspired by old things, like the Chinese moon door, which is one of the most beautiful things on the planet. And this is our version. And then we take it and we walk with the idea, and it becomes an egg. It becomes an egg living between baskets. One of these baskets is the powder room, and the other one is a larder for storing food. This is the entrance to one of the bamboo houses. And the furniture, of course, if you try to put modern furniture in there, it looks a little strange, so we end up making the furniture completely out of bamboo. And it's amazing what can happen when you have a bamboo pallet. This is the entrance to one of the houses. It's a bamboo bridge. And this is one of the newest houses on the side of the river. You are all invited to come and visit. So here we have houses that look like spaceships dropped out of the sky, putting down feet that land on rocks. And the client goes, I want a swimming pool. And we all know that the average swimming pool would work as a bomb shelter if you turned it over. So we said, no, we can't do that. We can't dump another chunk of concrete on the world for the sake of swimming. So we did this. We said to the architects and engineers, we're building a bamboo swimming pool, and they all got terrible headaches and wandered off. And they stalled and fought and stalled and fought until we got some Balinese artisans who had never been to architecture school to come, and they built this. Now, they built it, they weren't sure. It wasn't pre-engineered. So they put a tarpaulin in it, they filled it with water, and a good friend of mine was living in the next house, and he heard it empty in the middle of the night as it tipped over and dumped all that water into the river. Architects were feeling like we weren't being responsible. But this is what happened. These are the Balinese, they rebuilt it, restructured it. These are the Balinese craftsmen testing it. And now it's multiplying, the flying bamboo pool. So we're building houses from bamboo. We're building hotels from bamboo. This is a chocolate factory. And the boys came to me, they have a raw chocolate, they're in the raw food movement, they have a raw chocolate business, and they said, John, we're building a factory and we've got the contractor coming and he's gonna build steel. And I said, wait a minute, bamboo is stronger than steel. And they have proudly recouped 50% of the cost of this factory just by being the first bamboo raw chocolate factory in the world. They've been in the New York Times. So it was a great investment building a bamboo factory. And this is another problem that plagues us. And there was a big outcry of going, why is there an ATM at Green School? Well, we figured out that everybody got paid on a debit card, and they all had to run to the local villages to pick up money. So we convinced the bank to put an ATM in, and you all know how beautiful ATMs are. So we put it in bamboo roof, we put 4 solar panels over it to make it a solar ATM, and then the last interaction was they sent the cement truck to pour a big base so that no one could steal the ATM, which is full of money. We managed to convince them it would be just as good to bolt it to that giant rock. So we have the first Bank International Indonesia bamboo solar ATM bolted to a rock. It's a great thing. And the magic of Elora is Elora grew up in Bali. She's my daughter, and I'm very proud of her, and this is her company that I've been talking about doing all these things. And it's entirely local team. There's no people from outside. It's just Indonesians. And all these kids, their mothers were dreaming when they graduated from school that they'd go and build apartment buildings in Jakarta. And they're not. They're committed to bamboo. And the amazing thing is that the second worker has built their own bamboo house. And no one has built a bamboo house forever in Bali. They've all built concrete houses. So we have the second house going up by these kids that run Ibuku. It's a bamboo revolution. You've heard about it. You may not have seen it, but it's a bamboo revolution that's in Bali. We're really pushing the envelope, and people are coming. This guy came. He's a French. His name is Laurent, and he's a sculptor of beautiful bamboo sculptures. And I looked in the book, and I thought, how cool is this? And then I said, how big are they? And he said, oh, they're about this big. I said, Laurent, your bamboo's a little small. And he was at first insulted, and then he was curious. So we got him into the bamboo groves. We made a deal with him to come back in the sprouting season. He made his drawings. He wants to make bamboo as it grows, make beautiful shapes like this. And guess what? He's doing it. He's there. And he has to change the ropes on these bamboo every day because it grows so fast. In 3 years, this bamboo will be harvested, and you'll see it in galleries in Europe. Giant bamboo sculptures growing. Rudiger is a guy who makes violins, but I think he's cracked because he was in our bamboo scrap pile taking bits of bamboo like that out and making them into instruments. And he's teaching the kids at Green School that you don't have to have a violin to play. And in the center of Green School, there's a giant tower. And he got in there, and this is what he did. There's kids in there every day at lunch playing the harp. We call it the harp of school. It's an amazing thing that's happening with the bamboo revolution. And this guy, he escaped from Germany. His name is Jörg Strom. He was a timber framer. And he went to Colombia, and he got lost in the forests, and he got bitten by the bamboo bug. And he is one of the most creative forces, using engineering data that was beaten into him in Germany to produce a bamboo future that's just unbelievable. He builds bridges. He doesn't build quite this fast, but almost. He was dreaming of a bamboo spring. And you all know springs are laminated. So he laminated bamboo. He then got carried away, and the bamboo spring turned into a Mobius strip. He bent it over, and it became a car, a bamboo buggy. And this is him with the Balinese craftsman bending the steel form that the buggy will be formed on. And with the help of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clamps, we create a laminated bamboo vehicle. Here it is. It's the whole vehicle is the spring. The batteries are hung from the back where they're supported by the Mobius strip. And this is Mr. Strom. He's I get chills. This happened in the last 2 weeks, and I get chills. I got chills when those bamboo frames came off the line. And they're now being made by 5 young women from the village. We should be able to make 1 a day. And I'm thinking about changing my name to Henry. There's 3 sizes, 2 men, 4 men, and 6 men.
Coming! Hop of car.
So this is Rudiger. Rudiger and Jorg met in a bar. And we got the idea. This is a very early prototype. You know how things start. We got the idea that the car needed a horn. So Rudiger decided he would make harp of car. And I can't wait till we get an electronic pickup for it and a speaker. This is the prodigal son. He went away to university. He grew up in Bali. He grew up in a village in Bali. He was more Balinese than the Balinese. He had a dog to scare away the evil spirits. And he graduated in liberal arts, and he said to me, "Dad, why didn't you get me to take something where I could get a job?" Uncle Sam said to him, he's a Canadian like me, Uncle Sam said to him, "Get a job or go." I wasn't completely unhappy, and I said to him, "Warren, it's not about getting a job, it's about making jobs." And he's back in Bali making jobs. He's there in his first greenhouse. It's made from bamboo and recycled car windshields. They cost about $2. Nobody loves a 2002 Datsun back window. So he's working with local gardeners, and he's taking the gardeners from kind of employees that are getting paid by the month to trim the bushes to a co-op that produces food on the land. And here's one of the gardens. It's 100% food. No bushes. It's food for people. It's food for animals. It's things like bamboo that you can use, and it's food for the soil. And it's an amazing possibility. He has a mentor named Mark Garrett, who's an experienced tropical permaculturist. And together, they're transforming the land. This is under one of the big bamboo house I showed you. And when I walked down there, I just thought, we're home. The bamboo house has met the... And the reason that it's brown is it's just put in, and they use a thick, thick mulch of rice straw to make things grow. And recently they had a new client who has 6 hectares of land, and she wanted a healing center. So they said, well, this land has been in the hands of speculators for 5 years. The rice fields are no longer being planted. The chocolate trees are in bad shape. So what they're doing together is they're healing the land. They're putting it back to the farm that's been there for 1,000 years. And then we're going to come in and drop in the buildings for the healing center. So heal the land and then heal the people. But these guys are amazingly broad. If you look at your parking lots that you have to put in every project, it's so sad. They're not just ugly, they're a huge consumer of space. So this is a parking lot that grows food. And it's called a parking farm. And what we did, you can do it too. We just cut the ground. We put in living saplings to become the poles. We then covered it with pumpkin and passion fruit. And it's becoming a new idea. Can you imagine telling someone, oh, I parked in the pumpkin farm? And the other thing we have at the factory is tons of waste, bamboo scrap. And we now have a retort where we turn it into carbon, turn it into charcoal. And if you look on the right, when you put biochar in the ground, things get twice as big as on the other side. And it's an amazing, it's an old Peruvian idea, and it's working so well. And this is Oren holding the bottom of a giant bamboo piece. And this will become a vase, and it Bamboo charcoal is hugely, pulls toxins out of the air, pulls all sorts of bad things out, so you can put this vase in your house and clean the air. This is Mark Fisher. I met him in the 70s. He's one of my original mentors. And he was going to be here today, but he's ill in London, and I'm thinking about him. His level of commitment to quality has always been something I followed. And recently, on my 63rd birthday, a wise man said to me, "John, you have to be careful just to do things that are good for the earth, because you're running out of time and you're not going to have time to go back and fix them." So think about that as you work. Being young means you can fix everything later, but being older, you really have to take a stand. So come to Bali. You're all invited. This is my daughter, Alora. Come and learn about bamboo, play with bamboo, build bamboo, create a bamboo future. Thank you.
Greatest outfit I ever seen in any conference. Thank you for sharing your bamboo magic with us. One question from one of the audience was, can bamboo save Istanbul? What do you think?
Well, I've only been here 3 days, but I think Istanbul is already saved. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life.
Okay, thank you. We'll try to save it all together. So, one other thing is, actually you started off as a jewelry designer, right? Is that right?
I started off as a peasant from the village.
Great. My second thing is, would you think of designing jewelry using bamboo? Or have you ever?
I designed a lot of jewelry using bamboo, and I realized that maybe jewelry wasn't everything my kids needed to see what the future would be. So I moved into school, I moved into bamboo, I moved into things that the kids can really use.
Thank you very much, John.